Talk Over There. First guest tonight is an Olivier Award-winning and Grammy Award-nominated singer and actress. She's currently starring on Broadway as Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard, which is now playing at the St. James Theater through July. Please welcome to the show, Nicole Scherzinger, everybody. I'm also so flattered that while you're doing your Broadway debut and working so hard on stage that you found time to give some of your energy to us.
Always.
Thank you.
It's my, it's such a pleasure to see all of you. I don't get out much, Seth, so this is
Don't get out much.
Well, this is a big night for me.
We were talking backstage. This is not only your Broadway debut, but it's your first time living in New York City, and you really are basically saving all of your energy to do this show that is so demanding on stage. So your experience of New York City is super lame compared to most people.
It's really
Outside
lame.
starring on Broadway, you're not doing anything cool in New York City.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I just know 44th Street.
That's great.
That's where my theater is, the St. James.
Yeah, so people are like, where did you eat in New York City? You're like, Seamless. Uber Eats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friedman's. I order from Friedman's every day.
Norma Desmond, though, this is a role that is a dream role for you.
Yeah, no, actually it's not. Being on Broadway was always the dream.
Yeah.
The dream, the desire to always be able to give my full potential to share with people my real passion through my art and what I love the most, singing, acting, and dancing. This role was not the dream, Seth.
Okay. By the way, can I say something? Thank you for your honesty.
But you know what's so wonderful is that you just never know when your time is going to come and how it's going to happen. I never imagined, I said in my Olivier acceptance speech, I was like, there are many, many roles, musical theater roles. I grew up dreaming, I loved musical theater growing up. I was like, that I always wanted to do, and this was not one of them. But I fell madly in love with the character. Jamie Lloyd was like, listen, just read the script. I did. I listened to the music, Andrew's music, Chris and Dawn's lyrics, and I just fell so deeply in love with her, and I just understood her. And yeah, it's a good lesson, Seth, because you just never know. You have to keep an open mind and open heart and open imagination, because you don't know where you're called to be. And this is my answered dream and prayers. This role in this production.
That is so wonderful. I do think it's please.
Thank you. Thanks.
Have you thought about starting the show? Because, you know, there's sometimes those pre-recordings where they tell people to turn off their cell phones, where it also is like, as a reminder, Nicole never wanted to do this.
Yeah.
This was never her dream role. But it's interesting, you mentioned all those things about singing and dancing and acting. I guess ultimately, this is a role that provides you all these things. And it is a revival, unlike any that we've ever seen on stage. I mean, just the lighting and the design, it's something else.
It's just such an honor to be a part of this production. Our fearless leader, Jamie Lloyd, our director, he literally took musical theater and turned it into an art installation. We took the rule book and threw it out the window, and we just it's very minimal. As you could see, there are no props, there are no sets, but we're really inviting the audience to lean in and use their own imaginations, and because of that, it's a way more deeper experience.
You mentioned the audience. You also did it on the West End, so you have been able to experience both London audiences and New York audiences. Have you found them to be massively different?
Yes.
Okay.
Very
What is the biggest difference?
Okay, the biggest difference, I've said it before, is the English audience is they're very respectable, they're very reserved.
Yeah, you don't seem to be describing New York people.
My makeup artist used to say, I used to come off stage and I'd be like, guys, I don't know if they're awake out there, I don't know what's going on. And she'd be like, listen, you can't hear a smile. And I'd say, you're right. But here in New York City...
By the way, it would be very sad if someone told me that after my show.
You're right.
Yeah, late night with Seth Meyers. You can't hear a smile.
Wait, what were we talking about?
English audiences can't hear a smile.
But here on Broadway, the American audience wants you to know how they feel. They want you to know how they I feel. And can I tell you something, Seth? It gives me my superpowers. Like, when the audience is there, because, okay, so I play like a different type of Norma. Jamie just let me kind of go crazy and just kind of bring my sense of humor and my silliness. So there's a lot of parts where I'm like, I just really want to have fun with this. And Norma kind of goes crazy in a lot of good ways, right? And really dark ways as well. You'll see later.
Yeah.
When you hear the audience, like when I finish with one look and you feel the applause or you hear the laughter, it just gives you superpowers. Sometimes if it's one person stands up, it's like, you know what? I'm doing this entire show for you, I got you. And it just makes all the difference. The audience is like, as you know, there is no theater without the audience. It's that exchange, it's that electric energy, it's that connection that makes it magical.
You mentioned sometimes you have one audience member.
Come on, audience, woo! Don't forget us, Seth.
But you mentioned sometimes it's one audience member where like, yes, you get me. Our producer, Sarah, when she came to see the show, said that middle song, cell phone went off.
Oh,
so that's a different kind of audience member. How often is that happening?
Okay, Seth, I remember that.
Okay, so not that often, if you remember it.
It's not that often. It wasn't in the middle of the song. It was the most important part of the entire show. At the end, she's completely lost her mind. We've just gone really dark, really deep. You can't hear a pin drop, okay? I'm covered in blood. There's tears, there's snot. I'm an actress. So much snot. And I'm just like bringing the audience in. It's a whisper. It's barely a whisper. I can't even get the words out, Seth. It's so engaging.
Fantastic. I'm so engaged.
I say, this is my life. It always will be. There is nothing else. And I say, just us. And then someone's cell phone went off. And I swear it took everything in me to not go, just us. And the cell phones. But I was like, because I say, and the cameras, but I wanted to say in the cell phones, but I held it together. And then last night, a cell phone went off again, right before Norma's line, if you've ever heard of the line, I'm ready for my close-up. Right, we've heard of this line, right? It's like, it's just, everything is done. The show is done. There's blood. I do this with the blood. It's all in my hair. And it's just silence. I've got him right there. Just like this. Everybody's in the palm of my hands. And then the cell phone went off. And then I just waited, and I wanted to say, do you want to get that? Is that? It took 3 rings. 3 rings, you guys.
I mean, I guess that's better than someone being
and
like,
then I waited.
I think it's almost over. Yeah, no, she's covered in blood. There's snot. I feel like this is I think they're I'll be there. Tell the waiter 15 minutes. But I mean, I'm very impressed that you can wait through that. You mentioned blood, and I want to show these photos. Again, spoiler alert. If you don't know, but you have taken a lot of photos backstage with some real luminaries covered in blood. Here's Sigourney Weaver, Katy Perry and Meghan Trainor,
my girl.
Olivia Rodrigo. I mean, this is just fantastic. I mean, Rebel Wilson.
Just having a drink afterwards.
I mean, this is the photo. I mean, these people are so lucky to get this photo with you. But this is you and Jane Fonda. I want to know this is different. How did this go down?
She just came last week, and there's just such an energy in the air afterwards, and you feel like you've gone through a full journey, a full circle of life after that, because I've literally given my full heart and soul, Seth. I can't wait for you to see it. But so afterwards, she just came back, and there were no words. We just looked at each other, and we just kissed.
Yeah.
Because it was, in my, where I'm from in Hawaii, like, it's just natural. You have to kiss everyone. That's the way you greet them. That's the way you say hello. And I've kissed, me and Billy Porter kissing. Like, it's just like that, of just that exchange of like, I get you.
The fact, I know how good you are in the show if people want to kiss you covered in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because like that is like, you're like, I want to taste. I want to taste of the talent.
It is pretty tasty. It's corn syrup.
Oh, it's corn syrup. Oh, well, that's good to know.
But just shout out to Jane Fonda. Hello.
Yeah,
I mean,
legend.
we've had some incredible, everybody who comes, I mean,
Do you like knowing?
Diane?
Can I ask a question? Do
Yes.
you like knowing when you got the big names in the house
Okay,
beforehand?
so I do sometimes like to know when we have special guests in the house because it just, part of it really fuels me. But then I also don't like to know any names or anything because it gives me the freedom to just take my balls, throw them to the walls, and just be like, let's just have fun and play and live spontaneously.
You'll know when I'm there because my cell phone ring is who let the dogs out. So when you hear that right at the end, be
and
like,
I'll say,
he's here.
and I'll say, Seth, are you ready for your close-up?
Love that. What an honor to have you here. Thanks for making time for us. Congratulations on the show. Nicole Scherzinger, everyone. Sunset Boulevard is playing now at the St. James Theater through July. Stick around. We'll be right back with Roy Wood Jr.